This preview brought to you by Harness Racing Victoria.
Adam Hamilton with you, having a look at this tremendous meeting of harness racing, one of the great meetings on the harness calendar, sporting calendar to be honest, in Australasia, is this Hunter Cup meeting coming your way from Melton's Tabcorp Park tomorrow night. Greg Hayes, Jason Bonington and myself will be trackside for Sky Racing to bring you all of the latest, the atmosphere from the track, the interviews with the key players, all of your betting updates and all of the racing action through a magnificent 10-race card. It's a Hunter Cup meeting, Hunter Cup itself with a difference. For the first time in this great race, Harness Racing Victoria has ditched the handicaps and it becomes a standing start free-for-all. I think the results, as we get to have a look at this race, are one of the best fields in the past 10 to 15 years. As usual on these big meetings, tab.com.au is getting right behind it with a guaranteed quaddie pool of $200,000 for the Victorian Tab punters. So please note that quaddie is different to the normal races on harness. It's races 5, 6, 7 and 8. $200,000 guaranteed quaddie pool. So a good way to get involved, and believe me, I think the dividend will be quite substantial. I think we can find an anchor in that quaddie, but other than that, the other three legs are going to be very, very challenging, including the Hunter Cup, where I think any of 9 or 10 of the 14 runners have got legitimate winning chances. Well, let's get into this meeting, and it starts with action aplenty from the opening race, because the first 3 events at this meeting are heats of the Victoria Derby. We've been saying for several weeks now on all of the harness coverage on Sky Racing that Team McCarthy, trainer Belinda and her husband Luke have got the stranglehold on these Derby races, and it starts with this heat. Bling It On, absolutely brilliant at 2. The 2-year-old of the year last season is the $1.25 favourite to win the opening heat over Barry Purdon's New Zealand Raider, our Sky Major at $5.50. He's drawn ordinarily. Now, I Am Mr Brightside caused a major upset, beating Bling It On, Let Us Rock Them, All Black Stride at Menangle last time out. He's had a little bit of support here at the $7 to cause an upset again. And the early season 3-year-old star, Yaya's Hotspot, not exactly sure where he's at the moment. He's kept safe at $8. Well, let's get into this race. On everything we've seen of Bling It On this season, he won that choking final back on Miracle Mile time, and he had a bit of a freshen up. Yes, he was beaten at Menangle, but he just seemed to lose concentration and focus on the home bend there, but he got going again. Then they brought him down to Victoria and really opened him up at Cranbourne just over a week ago. He won by a cricket pitch. He ran unbelievable times, the fastest last half that anyone can ever record at Cranbourne, can recall, I should say, and that included some of the open class stars. He should be winning it, barring a major upset. Our Sky Major, he might have been some chance of beating him. He won a Breeders' Crown semi-final back in August, and then he drew poorly in the final. He's come back this season. His form looks okay on paper. It's been in good races in New Zealand. The back row is going to make it hard for him to challenge Bling It On here. I Am Mr Brightside's got to be respected for Kerry Ann Turner and Robbie Morris. He's obviously a 3-year-old of immense talent, but he has drawn outside of Bling It On. And Major Crocker is a really emerging 3-year-old. He wasn't too far away in the South Australian Derby already this season. So I do think Bling It On, though, should simply be too good, as the betting indicates in Derby Heat 1. Let's go to race 2, second heat of the Derby, and Team McCarthy this time have All Black Stride as a commanding favourite. A week ago he went to that same Cranbourne meeting as Bling It On. He took on a fairly moderate field there, but he looked absolutely brilliant doing it. He's drawn nicely in barrier 2. And you could certainly argue he's taking on an easier field than Bling It On has got to deal with in the opening heat. He's $1.20. It's fair to say that he hasn't got as many glowing fans at this early stage of his career as Bling It On has, but as I said, the opposition's probably easier. He's $1.20 to win it. $7 for Motor Smoker. Luke McCarthy drove this one to win at Shepparton last time, and it was tough doing it. An up-and-comer here for trainer Susan Hunter. Young Modern won a feature race at Victoria Cup Night, the Sires Classic back in December, won by a cricket pitch against a pretty ordinary field last time out, and Hector JJ's got really good gate speed and can be forgiven for last time, but All Black Stride dominates the betting. Let's get into selections. All Black Stride certainly picks himself. I think as the season goes on, there won't be a lot between he and also Bling It On and Let Us Rock Them for the best 3-year-old in McCarthy's team. Right now, Bling It On is probably more of a complete package. All Black Stride to win this one. To beat Motor Smoker, really impressed by the performance at Shepparton after doing a lot of work last time. Sure, Luke McCarthy goes off, but the replacement is Gavin Lang, so not missing much there. Hector JJ's got tremendous gate speed. Loved the first 2 wins this campaign. Not a lot went right last start in that Shepparton race, and Young Modern will need that little bit of luck from the inside back row, but boy, he's got a lot of gate speed, and he could certainly get into the minor placings. So Team McCarthy to win the first 2 Derby heats. Let's have a look at the market for race 3, the third and final of the Derby heats. And you guessed it, they have the favourite again, Let Us Rock Them. He's been a little bit easy though, $1.55 out to $1.60. Unlike the stablemates in the first 2 heats, he's drawn the back row. He'll start from 3 out on the back row in barrier 10. And it's got to be said, his great form through his career has been when he's been up front controlling his races. So a bit more of a challenge for him. Our Maxim is another of these Barry Purdon visitors from New Zealand. He too was very good through the Breeders' Crown Series in August, and he's come back in tremendous form this campaign. He draws the front row, but it is outside of the front row. There's been support for him to cause an upset. Major Secret. He won the Vic Bred final at 2. He went to Mount Gambier and won by the length of the straight there in a pretty ordinary race last Saturday night. He's got to be respected. He's got a dash of class. And the Fat Man's come back with 2 good wins this campaign, including a tough performance at Hamilton on Wednesday. I'm still going to tip Let Us Rock Them, but I think we're going to find out a lot more about him here, and that is what sort of versatility he's got. Is he just a one-trick front of the field pony? He'll have to be more than that to win from barrier 10. Luke McCarthy tells me they've been training him from back off the pace this campaign to try and teach him a little bit more and get him to settle. That's going to be the key. Number 10, Let Us Rock Them, to beat Our Maxim in what should be a really good contest. The Fat Man's drawn nicely, just not sure what sort of gate speed he'll show, and he can't afford to be buried back in traffic from barrier 1. And Major Secret's got to be respected. Yes, he was a shade disappointing when Motor Smoker beat him at Shepparton last 2 starts ago, but then he had that confidence booster at Mount Gambier last Saturday. So 10, 7, 1 and 9 in the third of the Derby heats. Race 4 would normally start the quaddie. It doesn't this time, and probably thankfully it's a very, very tricky race. It's the Country Clubs Championship final. Gee, there's some talent on display. A lot of these horses are going to go on and win a lot more races, but the barrier draws made it really, really interesting here. I'm going to go with Scruffy Major. He showed a lot last campaign. He ran in some pretty nice races, and he really likes to be driven conservatively and use that big finishing burst that he possesses, and that's going to be the key to his chances. There's no doubt about it, what sort of luck and what position he can get into from barrier 6. But I like him on an each-way basis. Number 11, Ginger Bliss, is the other class runner. He ran in a lot of the really, really good 3-year-old races last season and was very competitive. He had that first up run where he got in behind the leader, which should have suited him. Don't know whether he was disappointing or whether he just couldn't get his momentum early enough, but he did enough when he ran second. The back row draw's not going to suit him, but he has got good speed if he's coiled up for one run. Steam Washed is absolutely airborne, the mare, this campaign, but it's going to be hard from barrier 13. And I'm a fan of Cyrus. Got better with each run this campaign. He only dead-heated for the win at Ballarat last time out, but he could give Cheek at pretty big odds. 6, 11, 13 and 5 in race 4. Now we start this quaddie, of course, that guaranteed $200,000 pool for the Victorian punters. It starts on race 5 instead of the usual race 4. And this is a really good free-for-all here with fixed odds betting available. Well, I think the market says it all. We've got Mel Park Major, the old guy. He has achieved so much, Mel Park Major, a Victoria Cup amongst his CV many, many years ago. He's way past his best, but this sort of level of racing suits him. It is going to be hard from the back row. Not sure he'll start favourite. Alchemy's been $6 into $4.50. Brave Wiggy's had support. Pass them by. Well, geez, a class runner of the race. Most expected he'd be a chance in the Hunter Cup before an absolute shocker at Ballarat last start. And then Saab Quality, who was unbelievable at Yarra Valley and then didn't have a lot of luck last time out at $9. Value there, the Smiler at $11. Going to get into my selections now, and in fact I want to go back and show you the replay of this race from Ballarat last week, and I like the Smiler. His performance was terrific. There he is, 3 wide with our cover doing all of the work. Alchemy's on his back here, and you just have a look how well the Smiler fights on. This is Guaranteed in front. He obliterates the track record. Guaranteed's a superstar in the making. There's the Smiler having done all of the work to cart Alchemy into the race. He's still in second spot now, and he fights it out really well. Here's Dan's call.
Is Alchemy further back to Saab Quality, but Guaranteed is nicely clear. Lake the Phantom makes ground. The Smiler bats on, but it is the favourite, and Guaranteed wins it from Alchemy, the Smiler, and the Phantom. Guaranteed the winner. Alchemy, the Smiler, and the...
Well, he's not traditionally known for his bravery, the Smiler, it's got to be said, but I think at $11, if he reproduces that performance, and he has drawn the front row, albeit barrier 5, he definitely went better than stablemate Alchemy, who's been really well backed in this race. So tactically it'll be interesting. Rodney Petrov's driving the Smiler, whereas Lance is aboard the Alchemy. I thought they both went really well in a strong form race last time out, and they represented the value. I like him at the $11, the Smiler, to beat Alchemy. Pass Them By was terrific in the SA Cup behind Caribbean Blaster and Smoking Up. Then maybe he just didn't handle a trip to Adelaide because he was too bad to be true at Ballarat last week. Massive drop back in grade for him. I expect him to run favourite and run a much improved race. And the old guy, Mel Park Major, well, he broke gear early on and virtually took no part at Melton last time. And his previous form was consistent. As I said, at this stage of his career, this is his sort of level. But I really did think that the Smiler represented very good each way value at the $11 fixed odds in race 5. Take as many as you can in that first leg of the quaddie. We'll recap the quaddie at the end of the preview. Let's get into race 6 now. It's the first of the Group 1s. It's the Australasian Trotting Championship. And we're going to go back and have a look at My High Expectations winning his heat of the race after we get this fixed odds market. My High Expectations, it's not often I'd say it about an odds-on chance, but I don't think the $1.80 will last long, and I think it's overs. I think he should be about a $1.50, $1.60 shot here. Blitzum Calder was disappointing last time out. He's got all the ability. He'll probably end up being a better trotter than My High Expectations, but he's not right now. He was run down after having every chance last week in his heat at Ballarat at $3.80. Mr Zion doesn't know how to run a bad race. He's got no point-to-point speed, but plenty of strength. And Icy Earl is good value at the $11 after upsetting Blitzum Calder in that heat last week. Here's that replay of My High Expectations. He actually galloped away at the start, which is not like him. He got going well enough to be able to go round and take the lead. When he got to the front, it was race over. There's a brave old dude outside of him, Mr Zion. He did all the work again. My High Expectations has simply got too much speed for Mr Zion. Let's have a look how Dan calls it over the final stages.
My High Expectations got away on Duke of the Moment. The outside, Mr Zion's flat, and then came battling away Stoned I Am, Empire Earl. My High Expectations in front, battling on Mr Zion, but My High Expectations is nicely clear, and My High Expectations is too good. My High Expectations won it. Second in Mr Zion, photo third, Empire Earl, a terrific run, and Stoned I Am from Duke of the Moment.
Well, he's just one of the tremendous stories of Australasian harness racing. He was virtually a giveaway over in America to Clive Palmer, who made that big splash into harness racing, now better known for his business and politics. And David Aitken, I think, took out a lease with a few others on this trotter, and he's been a sensation. He's gone from a bit of a speedy squib into an all-round package, and I think he's a standout. He's too good for Blitzum Calder unless he makes a mistake right now. 9 to beat 11. Icy Earl in for third, and Mr Zion, well, he doesn't know how to run a bad race, but he just struggles on the bends a little bit, and he struggles when the speed goes on in the races. He needs them to be a real war to be a winning chance. 9, 11, 3 and 12 in the Group 1 Australasian Trotters Championships. That's the second leg of the quaddie. Let's get into the third leg of the quaddie now, and gee, this is a tricky race. I thought there was an absolute stack of chances here, but I was really taken by the performance of 2IC at Ballarat last week in the Pure Steel. Made a gallop at the start, only ran 6th, but I thought his performance was tremendous considering. I like him. He comes back to the mobile racing, which he prefers here, and he nearly beat Guaranteed at Shepparton 2 starts back, and Guaranteed franked that form with his blistering display when he obliterated the track record at his subsequent run at Ballarat last week. 2IC on top for me. I'm pretty keen on him, even though he has drawn wide. He's going to need luck. It's never easy. It doesn't matter how good you are from an outside draw at Melton, I should say, over the 2240 metres. You're a nut. Don't know what to make of him. He was a massive go to win the Group 1 South Australian Cup last start over the short trip. He led I think he had every possible chance. I don't know whether he was overawed or just didn't deliver on the night, but he was disappointing for mine. It's obviously a step back in grade, but I'd prefer him from the front where he can use his gate speed. Magical Telf was in rare form. He's got a lot of speed. He's been freshened since not having much go right in the Horsham Cup. He ran 4th in a Melton trial to sharpen up for this on Tuesday. And Jada Sun ran a really good race at the Ballarat trials and then had no luck when 3rd in the Pure Steel at Ballarat last week. 7, 9, 6 and 10 in a really, really good race there, the Devondale Pace Race 7. Well, let's go to the big one now, and this is the AG Hunter Cup. $400,000 up for grabs. Let's have a look at the fixed odds market, and you can see it's very open, as it should be. Best Hunter Cup field I've seen for at least 10 years, and certainly the most open we've had for a long, long time. The Kiwis are here in force. Chris and Me is one of the favourites, or he is the outright favourite at $5. Pembroke Benny, he's made a complete renaissance, this horse. He's won 3 of his past 5. He beat Chris and Me last start over there in New Zealand. He beat Chris and Me and Caribbean Blaster in the Group 1 New Zealand Free-for-All in November. Restrepo won brilliantly at Ballarat last week in a career best performance. Caribbean Blaster's been 8 into $7. He was tremendous late at Ballarat. And Restrepo's been $7 into $6. Marsish has been cleared by the vets after a bit of an injury scare during this week. He's kept safe, the defending champ, at $7.50 with Smokin' Up, who, gee, gets into this race well. Under the old handicap conditions, he would have been off at least 20 metres. Now the handicaps are gone. He goes to the front row and draws barrier 4. I want to take you back to that Ballarat Cup last week. There's no better form lead-up race historically, and I think even more so. There's Restrepo coming 3 wide, no cover. Chris and Me is just getting the better of Smokin' Up in front. And Caribbean Blaster is in those black and yellow colours, running about 6th in between horses. He looks to be going nowhere at the moment, but have a look how he changes gears when Kate Gath is about to take him to the outside now. Chris and Me hits a front, Restrepo challenges, Caribbean Blaster comes to the outside late.
But it's Chris and Me in front, Caribbean Blaster late. Chris and Me, Restrepo's lunging, he's going to get him. Restrepo got up. On the line, Restrepo has reeled in Chris and Me, looked home for everything. Caribbean Blaster's rattled home. He's in the photo for 2nd. 4th, not sure. A weakening, Smokin' Up. Kian Cullen got checked off the back. He battled on well from the pedal.
Yeah, any of 9 or 10 can win it. I thought Restrepo was sensational there. He's been better known for speed than strength in his career, but he showed a lot of both last week. I'm going to go for Caribbean Blaster, though, and it's based on the fact that he just delivers in these big races. He's won and been placed in the past 2 Victoria Cups, and he was a tremendous run after doing a lot of work when 3rd in this Hunter Cup last year. He loves Melton. If this is his chance, he's great value. Doesn't surprise me he's been $8 into $7. Can't tip him with a lot of confidence because it's such a great open race. Chris and Me in for 2nd. It's a long time since he's won a race, but I thought he was really good at Ballarat. So too was Restrepo. He'll just need that little bit of luck from an inside-ish sort of 2nd row draw, Restrepo. And the Gold Ace was brilliant at Shepparton, beating a really good field. Then he jarred up at Ballarat last week. They've used a lot of work in the pool with him this week to get his feet right. I'm expecting a big performance from him, and he'll get out to silly odds a Gold Ace off one disappointing run. Caribbean Blaster, though, on an each-way basis, my fancy in the Hunter Cup. Let's have a look now at the Melton Trotters Cup, which is a Group 3 race, race 9. And we've got a fixed odds market on this one. Kai Valley Blue at $1.75. I can't believe he's not even shorter. He's miles better than these. He would have been one of the favourites in the Group 1 Trotters Championships had he gone that way. They're sticking to mobile racing. Barring accidents, he'll just turn up and win. I think he's got too much speed and class for these, Kai Valley Blur. Stablemate She's an Image first up at $7, and then Zettelite, who's in good form. Won the Hamilton Trotters Cup during the week of 10 metres. Likes the mobile and draws barrier 1 at $7.50. Let's get into the selections. Standout for mine, Kai Valley Blur. Would have made him one of my best bets if I knew he could get $1.75. I think he's just far too good for them. He's one of the best trotters in Australasia, and he's taking on, with all respect to them, the B graders here. Zettelite from the draw is the main danger. Brief Glance is a total enigma, but has good speed when saved for a late run at them. And number 8, She's an Image, has had a handful of trials in preparation for a return to racing, but inside of the back row is going to make it a bit of a challenge. Kai Valley Blur should simply be too good for them. Chris Lang Sr.'s got an almighty hand. He's the king of the trotters, and he's got a great hand in all of the trotting races at this Melton meeting. It extends to the last race of the night as well, where Maori Time Time should just win on what we saw first up and last preparation. She's got a real dash of class about her in this sprint final. She's $1.30 to win it. Doesn't surprise me she's that short. The odds have been slashed because the main danger, Bella Chevelle, is now a scratching. Maori Time at $1.30. Paris Pepperell, she got out late and ran home really well in an easier race last week and is the only legitimate danger at $3.60. But pretty straightforward, to be honest, this one. Maori Time should just be winning it. Number 5 on top to beat number 7, Paris Pepperell. She has got really good gate speed, but so too has Maori Time, which probably makes it even harder for Paris Pepperell to cause an upset. Death Defying was racing really well before the flop last start, and Monica My Dear will be fitter for that first up run. So I went 5, 7, 11 and 10, but Chris Lang Sr. to finish off the meeting in really, really good style. Let's get into the summary now. Best bets, it could be Kai Valley Blur, but I've gone with My High Expectations at the $1.80. I think it represents good value if you're a punter who doesn't mind taking the short odds on a good thing. So the $1.80 fixed odds for My High Expectations, the best bet. Best value, I've put him on top. Gee, I think he'll run a great race to Smiler in race 5. A reminder that he is paying $11 in the fixed odds markets at the moment. Race 5, number 5. And let's have a look at the suggested quaddie. Reminder once again, $200,000 guaranteed pool on races 5, 6, 7 and 8. And I suggest go wide in the first leg, the third leg and the last leg. The last leg's a Hunter Cup. As I said, there's a stack of chances. And that one out of number 9 in race 6 is My High Expectations. $50 will get you 13.22%. Let's have a reminder once again of that jackpot. A guaranteed $200,000 pool in the quaddie on races 5, 6, 7 and 8. It's going to be a magic night of harness racing. Greg Hayes heading up the coverage with Jason Bonington, myself, trackside. Enjoy a magnificent Hunter Cup meeting.
This preview brought to you by Harness Racing Victoria.